Good evening everyone and welcome along to FRL. We are here tonight, as you can tell by the title, for F1. It is Season 14, round number 7 of the Championship, as we take in the French Grand Prix from, of course, the Circuit Paul Ricard. My name is James Say, going to be taking you through the stream as always on a Tuesday night. FRL Oliver should be joining me in the comment box. I have sent him a message privately, so hopefully he does see it before we get going. But, of course, we have to review, of course, what happened last week in Hungary. And it was, of course, a very changeable race, of course, last week in Hungary. And in terms of the championship standings, and I'll get them up in just a second, it was, of course, Ruti that took the win. Really good win, actually, from Ruti in Hungary. Controlled the race, controlled the second half of the race very nicely indeed. He took the win, of course. Second place went to Kazizel. Third place went to Jensen. So that is the top three: Ruti, Kazizel, Jensen from last week. Top three in terms of the standings, however, is as follows. Ruti leading the way, as I've just pulled down my curtains, I think. Goodness me, that's my bad. Ruti leading the way on 95 points. Jensen in second on 83. Montana in third on 76 points. Then it's Barak in fourth on 57. Lou in 5th on 56, then Yona in 6th on 55, Tom in 7th on 48, Kazizel in 8th on 44, after a second place of course last week, Ryan in 9th on 28, and Med TC in 10th on 20 points. Davidenko in 11th, along with Petterville, Remco, Physico and Calamer rounding off the top 15, and then the rest of the drivers are as follows: Bunty, Henry, Harmon, Hawk and Mentos, who have all scored points so far this season. Those that haven't, Rocco, Macho, Kachow, Bombastic and Yarrow, who is a brand new driver, of course, coming into tonight. And there are actually a few new reserve drivers here to start, which I'll run you through, of course, in just a second. In terms of the constructor standings as well, valuable, of course, to go through the constructor standings. Haas leading the way on 114 points. They underperformed, to be honest, compared to McLaren last week. McLaren, of course, outscored Haas last week in terms of the points, so the gap got brought down. Haas did have over a 30-point lead. Now not the case. It is a 17-point lead they've got, Haas. 114 points, McLaren in second on 97, Alpine in third on 95, Mercedes in fourth on 68, AlphaTauri in fifth on 65, then Williams in sixth on 58, Alfa Romeo in 7th on 52, Aston Martin in 8th on 37, Ferrari in 9th on 35, and Red Bull in 10th on the 30 points. And Haas obviously leading the championship, as I say there, by 17 points coming into tonight over McLaren. Should be a really interesting race, of course, here tonight in France. Last time we came to France, of course, we actually had to reschedule this race because of desync, and hopefully we're not going to get the same here tonight after the update, of course. We are waiting, I believe, on Barak and on Henry, if I am not mistaken. Jensen can't send backup invites, by the way, at this moment in time, but have got 19 drivers here and a few new faces as well in the reserve lineup tonight. We've got Rudy, who won PSGL F3 last night, by the way. Rudy, of course, took the win in where were we last night? It was Brazil. He took the race win in Brazil, so Rudy obviously filling in the Ferrari. Then we've got QRT Mali, who is making his debut in the Red Bull. Very much looking forward to seeing how he's going to get on, of course, in the Red Bull. Looking through as well, FAC Yara, which we've already mentioned about, the Alfa Romeo driver. Sapalo, of course, you've already seen him this season before, but if you haven't, he is a brand new driver, of course, in the AlphaTauri. Stephen Osh, who I know very well from LOE Division 1, and he'll be hoping, of course, to try and get both Ferraris are being reserved tonight as well, so Stephen Osh representing Ferrari alongside Rudy tonight. And URL Pasix, who is a brand new driver as well, the German driver. I think he was formerly TTG, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong if he's tuning into the stream, but URL Pasix is the German driver in the AlphaTauri. We are waiting on nobody else to join, it seems, so I am ready to go, to be honest, in terms of the actual racing out on track. I've just been tagged in the commentators chat, no one for co-coms. I will see if Jesse is available to hopefully get a quick invite. My apologies, I have to do this on the fly because I'm now head commentator, of course, here in FRL. But if Jesse is available, oh, he is available, fantastic. Right, I'm going to quickly then send him a party invitation. Give me a second, so apologies that I'm adding you on a blue screen. Where are we? What is his name again? FRL Jesse. get Jesse in. Sure, he's probably watching the stream. I will give him an invite to the lobby as well. We are pretty much good to go, I think, apart from getting Jesse into the lobby. He has been sent an invite into the party, which is good. And I will send him an invite duly when he joins the party into the lobby, which I will do that now. And I go blue screen again, so apologies about that. As Jesse has actually joined the party already, and he's joined the lobby already, which is very good. Jesse, how are you tonight?
Good evening. I'm good. And you?
I'm doing really, really well. Obviously, France tonight. You were here, of course, last week in Hungary as well. Looking forward to it?
I hope so. Maybe some rain. I had yesterday an F3 rain quali, so it'll be very interesting.
Yeah, it should be really interesting, and obviously you are commentator, of course, reserve commentator once again in FRL F1. Thank you so much for being available, by the way, first and foremost. Literally on the fly, and I think that's the quickest time I've actually had to get a co-commentator into the party, which is really good indeed. But we are getting going already into qualifying at the circuit Paul Ricard, and it is 5.8 kilometres and then 3.6 miles. 15 turns awaiting the drivers, of course, out on track. 2 DRS zones, 1 down the start-finish straight, and 1 down in towards Le Chicane Nord at turn number 8. As you wanted rain, Jesse, it is raining out on track.
Very interesting. Now the question is, going to be dry at the end of qualifying?
Judging by the conditions, probably not. I'm looking at the garage, certainly in Macho's garage there. I can see a green wall compound of tyres, so it looks like it's full intermediate conditions to start off qualifying, which, to be honest, is not too bad. Obviously, did you race around here last night, if I'm not mistaken, as well?
Yeah, I get it a puncture.
You got a puncture. Terrible. Terrible, terrible look. But in terms of, obviously, the conditions in that race that you were in last night, was it just totally dry, or was it a little bit of rain?
It was dry. The rain was, there was rain in qualifying. It was wet inters.
Wet inters. Wet inters. Wow. Very changeable conditions, but hopefully we might, well, we will get changeable conditions, I know, in qualifying possibly, but it depends on obviously how the guys actually approach the lobby, and obviously how they approach the actual on-track driving. And I reminded everyone, of course, before we came live, that actually this race had to be rescheduled last season because of desync. Desync has rerouted at the moment on PC more especially than in PS at this moment in time, but on PS there is still a little bit of desync, so hopefully that's not going to rear its head tonight. We are getting the first drivers though out on track, and it's QRT Yona out on track. And the last time I think he raced around here in France, he just picked him in validation. The last time he actually raced around France that I commentated on him was TTML F2. He took the sprint race when, in the feature race, he ended up 2 laps down from everyone else.
Wow.
Wow. I know. Absolutely unbelievable. And Yona will be hoping that that luck can be totally rectified, of course, tonight. How do you feel, though, the Williams will get on? Because he's been showing sparks of his former self, I've got to say, in FRL. How do you rate his performance coming into tonight?
He is in form. He's doing some good performances this season. Last season he also was quick around here, I thought. So maybe he can fight for the win here in France. As I see in the Discord some interesting things. It's gonna rain also in the race.
It's gonna rain in the race? Hang on, what did I say? I didn't see that message. Hang on a minute. Are you in the F2 chat by any chance? Let's have a look. It is going to be... Oh, yeah, Jaro has said, the Dutchman has said the race as well, and Henry's wanting a restart. So that's absolutely typical of these FRL F1 drivers, complaining as you will, but hopefully we're going to be getting some really good action, of course, out on track tonight. Good evening to Sapala, by the way, who's, of course, reserving. He's out on track at the minute in the AlphaTauri. And Jesse, you are also in the comment section there as well. Got 11 viewers at this moment in time. And remember that this video will be uploaded onto YouTube later on. If you're already watching this on YouTube, you can ignore what I've just said. But Yona is coming around the final couple of corners. Very light rain, actually, out on track compared to what it was at the start of qualifying. So already track conditions trying to improve. Yona, though, on the run down and towards turn number 1. Should be around 8 or 9 seconds off a dry lap time around here in terms of softs to intermediate. So Yona now coming out of turn number 1 and 2, in towards the right hand of turn number 3, and then in towards the hotel section at turn number 4. or Le Hotel section coming through turn number 4, then they through the right-hander of turn number 5, then to the right-hander of turn 6, and it's 24.7 through the first sector from Jonas, snapping it coming through turn 6, now through turn 7, and down the Mistral straight, and you can tell this is a straight because there's so many different layouts to this track. You could go straight on, you could actually go to the left-hand side, or you could even try and cut through in towards turn number 1 or 2 around here, but Jonas cuts through the chicane at 8 and 9. Hasn't looked like a bad lap so far, and actually gets a little bit squirrely coming out of turn number 9 there, and on the run up the hill in towards turn number 10. It's a 55.2 through the middle sector from Yona, and the QRT man, of course, will be hoping, along with Mali, who was also in for the QRT team, that they're going to be representing themselves really well tonight. But Yona coming through the right-hander of turn number 11. Already 4 minutes gone in qualifying. Nobody's really said a lap time, and Yona is invalid coming out of turn number 11.
Too much on the limit there. So I hope he has enough fuel for another lap.
Yeah, I think he's fine. I think he's fine, to be honest. Obviously, the drivers on a set of inters can do multiple runs, so that's what we might actually see here from the drivers out on track. Physical, I think, is the next one to come across the line. He's behind him now, out on track, coming to the left-hander of turn number 12, and then in towards my favourite 2 corner names around this track, Lack at turn number 14, and then Punt at turn number 15, which literally means second and last corner. That's literally all it means. Physical around the final couple of corners, the Finn on the run towards the line, and it is going to be a 1:39.8 to start off the night. We should see those drivers improving on that lap.
They will. Of course, it's for helping for the team. It's a home race also, French team.
Yeah, it is. 39.8 though, physical, the first man who has set a lap time so far. 5 minutes into the qualifying session. Jensen, though, pretty much a favourable position, I think, tonight, and that's more like it. 39.3 on a set of intermediate compound tyres, and currently the Alpines are filtering 1 and 2, and I think they'll be hoping, as Ruti Hull actually comes in second to the top of qualifying, and now Mali goes quickest. 39.1, we're getting a flurry of lap times all of a sudden coming in here. Rudy is on a lap time as well. Lou is invalidated. Just trying to see who's furthest onto the line. Bunty, 39.6, goes 5th. But Mali out on top, Ruti in second, Jensen in third. And so far, only a few drivers have got lap times on the board.
Right, and also decent with P4 now. So now Baraka is the first man to go into the 138s.
Really good lap time by Barak. Of course, he has traditionally put himself in PSGL F2, in with a chance, of course, in that championship. And, of course, he, controversially, you could argue, took the race win last night in PSGL F2 in Brazil as well. Hawk is on a lap. Now known as FRL Hawk. No T-Hawk, though, at this moment in time. And now Hawk is coming through the left-hander for turn number 14. I thought he was going to be in the pit lane, given by how far he was going wide there. But Hawk now coming through the German, through the final couple of corners. Should be the slowest, I think, of the lap times we've set so far. And now Hawk on the run to the line. Of course, they've extended the start-finish line here in France by around 50 metres. And Hawk comes across the line 41.1. And he will inevitably improve on that lap time. But 7 minutes gone, Jesse. Barak out on top, Mali second, Ruti in third. And it's really the top guys that haven't set a lap time just yet, the likes of Macho, Yona and Rudy, possibly, the likes of which we're going to be seeing toward the top end of the field. But how's qualifying gone so far for the guys out on track?
Yeah, much invalid, not very much laps also. So we are just waiting now to see that time beaten maybe from Barak.
Possibly a man that is going to beat that lap time is Lou. He obviously doesn't need the Lou given the conditions out on track tonight. That's a bad one on me in terms of that pun, but Lou coming through turn number 12 and then in towards the right-hander of turn number 13. 11 minutes still to go in the session, so there's still plenty of time for drivers to obviously improve. Could be the case where the sun is now glistening through the track. It could be where, of course, you mentioned that the track conditions might actually improve in qualifying. It depends, though. Lou is going to put it up, I think, into second here, though, with this lap. He comes toward the line behind Barak Shuley, 39.1, always nailed on for second, and it's now a Haas 1-2, and of course, Haas, coming into tonight, lead the constructor standings. So far, so good.
So far, so good, as you said. Couple of thousands the difference between Mali and Lou. Mali actually improving 1/10 now.
Let's have a look at him. He's coming through middle sector. That's down the Mistral straight, actually. He's improving. So he's just came out the first sector. Now running down the middle sector. Davidenko, I think, could have at least given him a bit of slipstream there. The Spaniard just gets out the way completely. Goodness me. You can obviously gain a lot of time in terms of slipstream around this track. Something like 3-4 tenths per second I've seen. Certainly up in towards turn number 10, where you can gain all of that time. And obviously, drivers will be seeking to do that. And Molly is improving. He's 2 tenths up coming through the right-hander of turn number 10. And then in towards turn number 11. A little bit wide on the curb there, but he's okay. As it now comes through turn number 11. Currently, in theoretical terms, he's currently in second position out in top. 39.1 so far from Marley. But he should now come through the left-hander of turn number 12. And the Dutchman now coming in towards the right-handers of 13. And then, of course, at Lack and Pont, I should say, 14 and 15. But it's Barack out on top, Lou in second, Marley in third, and now Marley coming around the final couple of corners. The rain is beginning to ease now out on track, which might mean that dry conditions are not too far away, possibly, as Marley on the run to the line should go quicker than Barack here. And he does, 38.7, good lap time, but we've seen, as I said a little bit earlier on, multiple lap times being set by multiple drivers.
Yeah, I see some laps now on 3 laps, or some drivers now on 3 laps intermediates. Rudy, example for that. Also making his debut tonight in the Ferrari. So let's see what he can do in this qualifying session.
Another man, of course, making debut as well as the other Ferrari, Stephen Osh, who comes to the line, 39.3. Stephen, by the way, in terms of background, raced in Liga Rip Division 1 as Pasix has retired, coming through turn number 10. I'm not sure who's coming through that section of the track. It is... I can't find who it is coming through that section of the track. There's Marley. We'll hopefully try and get on board with him, but that's coming on the exit of turn number 9. And unfortunately, it seems like Pasix is out of the session, so he's going to be going nowhere near in terms of the top 10. And there he is, just off to the left-hand side of the car, and it looks like to me he's probably got caught on that inside curb coming out of 9. He's tried to flick it one way, and then the car's just gone the other way, and it's went in the wall.
Jonas gone into second, couple of thousands quicker than Barack, as Rudy now goes into 4th place. Decent lap time from him.
Yeah, really good lap time from Rudy. I mean, it's not too far off, to be honest. Rudy's only 3 tenths of a second off Marley, and I said at the top of the stream as well, not only making his debut here in FRL, but he took the PSGL F3 race win. I should know, I was commentating on him last night as well, so it literally looks like he's followed me everywhere in terms of this week's commentary so far. But Rudy out in 4th, 39 flat, he's looking too bad. There's a McLaren off in the middle sector, I'm not sure who that is. Jensen, however, I'm on board with a lap, 55 flat through the middle sector, and the Alpine, of course, will be hoping for a very good lap time. Not if he does that, though. He's gone very wide coming out of turn number 10, and then through turn number 11, he's backed off.
2 tenths improvements for Jona now, coming through the middle sector. He's hunting for pole here in France, but can he take it?
Yeah, can he take it? Indeed. Of course, he took sprint qualifying win in TTML last season around here. Whether or not that will come back and bite him, as he's very wide, actually, coming out of turn number 12. I'm not sure how he didn't invalidate that. Hawk is coming into spec lane just off to the right-hand side of him. So Yoda now coming through Lack and Pont at turn 14 and 15. And it's Marley out on top, Yona in second, Barack in third. There's an Alpine going, so I think that's Physical who's just got off a lap. But Yona should go quicker than Marley here, on the run to the line, 38.5, and now puts it between himself and Marley by 2 tenths per second. So Yona out on top, Marley second, Barack in third. Barack was on a lap, he was invalid though, coming through the final sector. He looks like he's going for another run, and judging by drivers staying out on track, it doesn't look like we're going to see any improvement in terms of the conditions, as Ryan has just gone 6th on one lap old inters.
Decent lap from him. Also now a couple of thousands behind of Lou. Difference is not very much. Look at P5 to Rudy now, who's in P7. Not much is the difference between that drivers. So it's really close.
Really close indeed. Marley and MedTC, by the way, judging by that gap, 2nd up down to 16th, is covered by a second. That is how close we're talking about. Even in inter conditions, that is how close we're talking about in terms of qualifying. One man, though, that could put this lap time out of sight is Ruti. He's on a lap, and he's 4/10 up in the middle sector. Very quick middle sector from Ruti. Of course, took the race win in Hungary last week, and the McLaren looks like he's out for fresh blood once again here in France, and hopefully he will be proving that the Entente Cordiale is just something from the 1940s. Ruti come through into the left-hander of turn 11, and then in toward the left-hander of turn number 12, but Jona out on top, Molly in second, and Ruti gets caught on the curb. How on earth has he kept that going? That is unbelievable. Surely he's going to come into the pit lane after that. I don't blame him for doing that, but how on earth is Jensen goes second? Yeah, Jensen goes second. How on earth, though, did Ruti keep that? I do not know. That is skillful driving, and he's still in 8th position and still got another chance of a lap time.
I didn't spectate him. I was looking at the lap of Jensen. He was also improving 4.5 tenths in the middle sector. So decent lap from him as Barak now goes into second.
And Lou is creating his own track limits, I think, coming through turn... I don't know where that is out on track. Coming through turn number 12. Creating his own track limits completely. It looked like, however, he is still on a lap, I'm tempted to say. I think he is. I think he might be still on a lap, Lou, here. Coming around the final corner.
I don't think so.
He's valid, even though he went so far wide. I don't think he's going to improve. Yeah, he's not going to improve at all. But Lou comes to the line. That would have been funny if he didn't actually improve off that lap. But the 39.1 still puts him in 6th. 4 minutes to go in qualifying. Jona out on top, Barak in 2nd, Jensen in 3rd. Jesse, anybody catching your eye at this stage?
Maybe Barak can take pole if he can do another lap. Yes, invalid, but yeah, no fuel now. So will he make another lap is now the question. Same for Jensen, he also needs to pit now.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit touch and go actually for Barak. We've got about 3.5 minutes to go in the session. Yaro, I'm on board with a lap just ahead of him actually out on track. He's now coming through the left-hander of Lack at turn 14 and Pont at turn 15. Jona out on top, the Macho goes 3rd. Good lap time by Macho. He's up there in terms of the Vanguard, 38.6 for the WR man. And Jaro now comes around the final corner and on the run to the line, and he puts it up into 9th position. Not a bad lap there at all by Jaro, and he goes 33 hundredths of a second behind Ryan at that stage. And Ryan there in 8th, Jaro in 9th, Ruti there in 10th. And anybody else on the lap? I don't think there is. Stevens up by 2 tenths though.
2 tenths. Lou
up by 2 tenths. Oh yeah, Lou's furthest actually on a lap, so we'll go on board with the Dutchman and see what he's doing here. Oh, I thought that was going to be an invalidation.
Nearly invalidated this lap as he is coming through the final corner. What will the lap be? Going on to the straight. Will he pull?
Really nice run at the final corner. This should be maybe ahead of Jona to the line. Goes 4th.
It's really close. Only 1 tenth. Only in the top 4.
It might not be 1 tenth in the top 4 anymore because Marley is 3 tenths up coming through in towards turn 14 and 15. The Red Bull, he is behind the Ferrari of Stephen Osh out on track, and he's improving as well. Stephen does improve, he stays 11th, 39.2, but Marley should go quicker than Jona here to the line, and he does by 9 thousandths of a second. Very good lap time by Marley. The Red Bull is out on top. Jona there in 2nd, Barak in 3rd. Nobody else in the top half of the field are improving at this stage. But are we seeing anybody else improving? Henry's up by 5 tenths of a second coming through the middle sector.
He is improving. He needs to improve more if he wants to get more to the front now.
Ideally, he needs to get ahead of Rudy, I think. That 7th position is going to be the bubble, I think, as we go through this session. It's going to be 10th position eventually. So Rudy could be in trouble. Ryan, Ruti could be in trouble. They're all on laps, though, coming through the first sector. Henry, though, is coming through the final sector. One ball with him now. Coming out of Lack and Pont at turn 14 and 15. As he runs very wide out of the final corner, and he's nearly in the wall, and he spins the car, and that is Henry round into the wall. Wouldn't be surprised if the rear wing damage on that car either. The AlphaTauri as well behind. That is Sapala coming across the line. He's not on a valid lap, but Henry has left the session. Very strange.
Was improving 1 tenth in the first sector, but he invalidated, so no pole for him.
No pull for him. Yep, Yona not improving. Lou's not improving. Rudy, I believe, is, though. He is up in the middle sector, I believe. Didn't see his middle sector split, so I'm just taking it on face value that he is improving. 39 flat. On a fresher set of inters, and obviously with the track now weathered in, this should be Rudy towards the top end of the field. He is very quick around France, and he'll be looking to try and prove that, of course, tonight. He's only in that reserve role, of course. He's got drivers in front of him preparing up for a lap. The likes of Barack and Ryan. Stephen Osh is just preparing up for a lap as well. Rudy backed off, coming through 14. I think he's still on a valid lap, though. Round the final corner, on the run to the line. He's going to get a very faint slipstream. Rudy to the line. Goes 7th, and he stays in that position. Good improvement in the end. 2.5 tenths. There's a spinner in the middle sector.
Jensen is improving now a little bit on his time, but a little bit. It is good now for P3, yes, I believe, with his improvement.
Ooh. Marley's purple in the first sector, but I think Jensen has had a better first sector than Marley, so he's 200s up Jensen compared to Marley in that first sector. Rudy also on a lap is looking quite good. Rudy's on another lap, I believe, but Jensen will run above with him on the run up the hill. We've got Marley, of course, just in behind him, actually, out on track, and he's a 10th up coming through the middle sector, so we'll see what the Shazoo man can do. Matey C is retired from the session.
Marley took it invalid.
Marley's invalid, and he's spun as well. Marley is off track, coming through turn number 9. He's getting out of the way, so he must have invalidated coming through that section of the track.
Really close to invalid.
Really close, but he's on the limit, and this is what Jensen does best. He's on the limit, and he looks like he could possibly goal pole position. He just needs to find a little bit of time now in this final sector for a buffer moment. Harmon is retired coming into the pit lane. We haven't got many drivers, I don't think, on laps. So Jensen around the final corner, on the run to the line. Is he going to improve ahead of Marley? We'll see. And he does. Yes, 38.4. Really good lap time from him. Marley's not on a lap as we alluded to. Rudy, I believe, is on another lap. 38.7. This could look quite close, actually, from Rudy. Round the final corner, fights the car, and he's running to the line. I don't think he's actually going to improve here. Rudy to the line. Yeah, it doesn't improve in the end. Ryan's not on a lap. Stephen Osh is. He goes 9th. Good lap time by him. Good improvement in the final sector. Ryan and Marley are done on their laps. And that is the end of qualifying. It is Jensen, championship leader, out on top. Marley in 2nd. Yona in 3rd. Barack there in 4th. Macho in 5th. I think the top 5 have qualified by 10th and a half, which is not too bad at all.
James.
Jensen is up championship leader, you're going to tell me.
Jensen is not the championship leader.
It's Rudy, isn't it? I knew when I said that. Oh my god. That's a rookie mistake. A rookie mistake. Jensen's on top in qualifying, is what we will say. 38.4 on that set of inters, and he's out on top. Marley in 2nd. Good lap time on his debut, by the way. Marley, quickest of everyone that has debuted so far tonight. Yoda in 3rd. Barack in 4th. Macho in 5th. Lou in 6th. Rudy in 7th. Ruti, who is the championship leader, in 8th on a 38.8, so he's there in 8th. Stephen Osh in 9th. Good lap time from him. Ryan in 10th. Yoel there in 11th, winning the Ukrainian flag. Bunty in 12th. Physical 13th. Harmon Sapala ran off the top 15. There's Davidenko, Henry, Medtc, Pasix and Hawk, so the 2 Germans starting right at the back of the field. And just to confirm, yes, Ruti is leading the championship, and my goodness me, it's absolutely teeming down out on track. It's full wet conditions.
Will drivers start on the intermediate tyres and do the Jarno Opmeer spread?
They could do, but just looking...
I think some will do, if it's gonna get turned into inters.
If it turned into inters, yeah, I think they would, but they're going to be struggling so much, because looking at that intensity of rain, full wet conditions, there are puddles in the pit lane that I can see visibly, and it just looks like a really dank, sodden day in the south of France.
Could be very interesting. We will see it in the information lab on which tyre everyone is starting. We're just starting in a couple of seconds.
Yeah, 30 seconds countdown is on. Hopefully this is the correct 30 seconds countdown, as I've sometimes experienced in commentary this week so far. But yeah, really good lap time obviously from Jensen. He's out on top. What does he have to do though now to try and get back at Ruti, obviously in terms of the championship?
Hoping that he gets some chaotic things behind him and drive away. As we will look at the tyres now, everybody is on the full wet tyre.
which is not surprising given how dank, sodden, it's like a typical day in the northeast of England, to be honest. I think what I could probably describe this as. Jensen out on top, Marley in second, Yona in third. Jensen, by the way, second in the championship coming in tonight. He's 12 points behind Ruti. That is actually the... Well, it's more than the difference, actually, than what they've got in qualifying at the minute. Because if the race wasn't to start, Jensen will probably be awarded full points. Ruti down in 8th will only get 4 points. Jensen, at this stage, would take the championship lead off Ruti if it was to remain as it is. But we have got 27 laps worth of racing in front of us. Everything will change.
I see some drivers underfueled that car. P6 underfueled. Bunty underfueled, Ryan underfueled, Stephen Osh underfueled.
Harmon as well, I think?
Yeah, Barek and Yona. Oh no, Yona not, but Barek is.
Stephen Osh, yeah, Barek. Yeah, so it's about 6 or 7 drivers there, I think, that have underfueled. What is the promise, obviously, underfueling? What... in terms of the strategy, will that help with? Because underfueling the car, obviously with there being full wet conditions, they're not going to use DRS, they're not going to use ERS, so really, underfueling the car is the best hope they've got, basically, to try and get more fuel into the car, A, before the end of the race, and B, so they can actually finish.
Yeah, it will depend on how much they underfuel. Lou goes off the track in the formation lap.
Yeah, we saw Jensen do that as well. I was running above with Jensen, the leader there, and he also went off coming through turn number 11, and that is always a tricky corner in full wet conditions to get right. Hopefully, though, fingers crossed, just pray, I think, at this point, that everything is going to be fine at the end of lap 1, and nobody, I mean, is going to be desynced, and nobody, of course, is going to crash into each other and cause any safety cars. That's what we're hoping for, anyways, in the commentary box. Jesse, though, final cars are coming around the track. Hawk coming to the final corner. Who's your top 3?
Jensen 1, Yona 2, Barek 3.
Interesting. I think I'd probably go for the same one, but I'll go Jensen for the win. I'm gonna go Rudy for second, and I'm gonna go, I don't know why, Bunty for third. Don't question me why I've just put him third. Don't. I think something is going to happen in this race. 500 lights are about to go out here for round number 7 of the championship here in France, and it's already lights out and away we go. Jensen gets a very good start, but Marley, I think, has got the better start, and he looks to pull to the outside line. He actually slides slightly coming off the line, and now on the run down towards someone, Jensen will lead. Marley in second, Jonah in third. Rudy dives it down the inside line and makes it 3 wide. In towards turn number 1. He gets 1 on the back of Macho. Macho loses the position as well to Ruti, so Ruti back through and he's into 7. Macho and 8. There's a crash further down the field. Henry and Ryan, I think, have had a bit of contact further down the field. Ryan, I think, has just reset the track there as well. Ruti, though, on the back of Rudy, and this is going to be a nightmare for us in the commentary box. Rudy and Ruti going to be going side by side, coming out of turn number 6, but it is Rudy who holds off the Finn for now. Sapala has also dropped down the field as well, down into 18th, but Jensen got the jump. Marley initially got the jump. He just sort of wheel spin on the run down and towards turn number 1, and that's why we obviously saw Jensen pull away. Barak has run on the back of him as well. Harmon is on the back of Physical, though, further down the field. Oh, and he absolutely launches it down the inside line into turn 8 and 9, in towards the chicane Nord, and Physical just about holds him off. And looking at the battle between Barak and Yona, that's getting quite interesting as well for third, as Barak is on the back of Yona. Doesn't get the move done there, but Jensen leads the way. Marley in second, Yona in third. Apart from that incident with Henry and Ryan, all clean.
Clean first lap, we can say, apart from that collision, as Ryan spun again now.
Now, these conditions are very tricky for the drivers out on track. The Aston Martin once again round. Probably not going to feed them in terms of how this race might approach them, but of course safety cars are probably going to happen around this track, and are probably going to happen in these conditions. So Ryan, don't give up if you're listening. Literally continue on, and we won't be surprised if you call one corner or 2. I'm totally not looking at the mini map. Henry, by the way, is into the pit lane, and Ryan is continuing on, so he hasn't got any damage, which is good to see. At the end of lap 1, though, Jensen leads the way. Molly in second, Yona in third, and Jensen obviously got the jump down in towards turn number 1. Sapala and Pasix were going side by side, and I think the AlphaTauri got the move done on his teammate, so Sapala through, and he's into 15. But Jensen got the jump down in towards turn 1, and now he can command the race from this position.
He can. For now, he's taking the championship lead also back. Rudy needs to make some positions also. He's now on the back of Rudy. Yes, Lou makes a big mistake there. As he will get overtaken now by... Rudy's also Dutch, I believe.
Yep.
So, two Dutchies battling together now into the chicane.
But he's not going to try...
I thought...
Oh, there's a bit of contact.
Almost colliding Rudy off the track.
Rudy's got to give up that position. He's getting so much time, and in fact, the game just punishes him for a 3-second penalty. Stewards will not have a look at that one. The game punished him, I think, completely right there, to be honest. Macho, as Marley has spun. Marley has spun, coming out of turn number 10. I think there's either a polystyrene board going or a front wing going there. Macho, by the way, gets to move down on Rudy, which I was going to commentate on. But Marley, all of a sudden, has lost 2 positions. From 2nd down to 4th, Yona and Barack go past. Not sure what happened there with Marley, to be honest. It looked like maybe he got caught wide at turn number 10. Lou and Rudy again?
Yeah, he's giving the position back.
Fair play.
Now to Lou. So, yeah, I think he can get this 3-second time penalty removed if he has his race director and sends the clip.
Yeah, fair play to him. I mean, he's probably got the stream in the background, and he's probably thought, yeah, James is normally right with these calls, so I may as well just stay in behind him, and give up the position, and it's good sportsmanship at the end of the day, and that's what we like to see. Rudy on the back of Lou still. Macho and Rudy are looking, Rudy, I should say, are looking quite quick. The Finn on the back of the Dutchman, of course. Macho there in 7th, Rudy there in 8th. Jensen, though, pulling away from Yona. Barack in 3rd, Marley in 4th, Lou in 5th. Lap 3, which normally would be DRS and Abel. Side-by-side battle, by the way, going through turn number 3 in the background. Hawk gets the move done on Davidenko. Nice move that by the German. He's through on the Spaniard, and he's through, and he's into 17th positions. Probably more conditions favouring the German as opposed to the Spaniard, given that the rain normally falls more in Germany than does in Spain. Sapala, though, on the back of Harman, running down the straight in towards Le Chicane Nord. Davidenko's also catching Hawk, hand over fist, but Sapala looks to the outside line on Harman, and to be fair, they were inches apart there, and that's a lovely move from Sapala. Nicely negotiated, nicely done, and he's through, and he's into 13th, as Hawk repays the favour on Davidenko. Davidenko's going to repay the favour back, and he gets the job done, because Hawk slides out of turn number 9, on the road towards turn 10, and Davidenko's through, and he's into 17th. Jensen, though, still commanding the lead out in front, and the front 4 beginning to pull away from Lou.
They are making some mistakes. We saw it already in lap 2. After the first sector, he made a big mistake. Maybe he can close in if the leaders are gonna battle with each other, but I don't see that happening really quickly at this moment.
Is it purely that them tyres that he's got on are simply not getting into the conditions, or is he just simply not liking these conditions full stop?
Anti at the back of Jaro now for P10. Oh, and he completely launched it down the inside. And if it completes, it will be a great move, but it doesn't complete.
Oh, turn 3 though.
Exit.
Turn 3, he's going to be on the inside line for 4. This should be Bunty's move. Got to be wary. He doesn't want to pick up a penalty like he did with Jensen and Imola earlier on in the season. And to be fair, look at the train that has now formed in behind. It's 2x2. Noah's Ark has become through turn number 5 and 6. Sapolo and Physical are going side by side. Bunty does get that move done. A little bit sideways there from Bunty, but he's into 10th. Yarrow there in 11th. Sapolo's right on the back, though, of Yarrow. And the FFC driver and the MSR driver are going to go side by side on the run down and towards the chicane order at 8 and 9. Sapala should get the job done here till the inside line. The AlphaTauri goes and the Alfa Romeo forced out wide. Nice move again by Sapala. Judging these conditions really well, I've got to say, the Finn. And he's thrown his into 11th. As there's a spinner in the background, and there's my TC round.
Just lost the rear wing simply. That's really easy to do there in these conditions.
I think you said rear wing there. I think you mean the rear end rather than the rear wing. Yeah. If you lost his rear wing, you'd just be seeing it go around on track. Which would be unfortunate. Oh, as Harman makes a mistake as well, just on the back of Physico, getting caught out wide, coming through turn number 12 there. But everything now beginning to split up out in front. It seems like the more intermediate, the more wet running pace drivers, Jensen and Yona, at the front end of the field are now beginning to pull away from, I'm not going to call them inexperienced drivers, but certainly Barack and Marley are struggling in these conditions. Lou and Rudy also, there's gaps appearing up and down the field. Jensen and Yona, normally known for their really good tyre management in wet conditions as well, and it just seems like they're working together at this point, not hassling each other, and they're pulling away. Sapala is going to get the move done on Bunty, just missed that in towards turn number 3, but Sapala is through and he's into 10th. I think Bunty might have made a mistake at the first couple of corners. As Pasek is on the back of Harmon at this point in time as well. 14th and 15th, the Williams and the AlphaTauri running up the Mistral straight. Is not going to be close enough, I don't think. Jensen are leading the way. Yona in second, Barak in third. Marley fourth. Lou, Rudy, Macho, Ruti, Stephen and M. Sapala ran off the top 10. Bunty, Yarrow, Physical, Harmon, Pasek's top 15. Davidenko, Hawk, Ryan, MedTC and Henry top 20. Henry will be hoping for safety car. Barak, it's a big snap of oversteer coming out of turn number 10, and look at this from Rudy on the back of Lou in towards turn 11. He's not going to think about going down the inside here. We saw quite a few moves last season here in France down in towards turn 11, and Rudy doesn't get that move done in towards turn number 12. He doesn't want to be like what he was on Sunday in TTOL F1, but to be fair, Lou holds position, but they're costing each other time, and they're costing each other time compared to the front four who are now back in that group.
Rudy looks like he's quicker than Lou at this moment. Lou just completely left the door open there for Rudy at that corner where he tried to overtake Lou. Both using ERS now down the straight, but they need to catch up some time.
Easy.
And Harmon got damaged, I think.
He has. I think he might have. Oh, as Rudy gets chopped up at the bit coming through turn number 1, Lou just chops him up there. And Rudy tried to dive it down the inside line, to be fair. He wasn't anywhere near getting halfway beside the car alongside him. That was, of course, Lou. Lou stays in 5th, Rudy in 6th. Harmon, I think, had an incident possibly with trying to look down the field. I think it might have been with either Sapala or Bunty, possibly. And that is why, obviously, he's came into the pit lane for, I would assume, a front wing change, because behind Harmon, it must have been a front wing change for the car. And the Williams now back into the pit lane, and that's unfortunate for Harmon. Ruti, by the way, on the back of Macho. Macho trying to be the Macho man, out on track. Baruti trying to, well, I can't think of a really good pun for Ruti's name, but Ruti on the back of Macho in 8th position. And Macho looking quicker than the guys ahead, but Ruti's looking quicker than all of them.
Yeah, but in these conditions, it's just not easy to overtake without DRS here in France. Of course, with all these trains now behind Lou as leader.
Oh!
Rudy tries it.
No. Nowhere near. Don't even risk it. He might risk it towards turn number 12. He's got to think about going for the move and put Lou into a bit of a full censored out on track, obviously. But Lou, they're costing each other more time, and they've lost a second compared to the last lap around. Rudy's on the back of him. Lou, to be fair, is defending the position, and Rudy's just going to go down the inside and towards turn 15, and that is a lovely move by Rudy. Waited his time. That is why he won PSGL F3 last night. Rudy now through and he's into 5th. Lou there in 6th. Very nice move that. And Lou has now got pressure from Macho and behind, and Macho I don't think is going to be close enough in towards turn 1, but Rudy, really nice move. And he had to wait for it, but in the end, he waited for it at the right area of the track. Dived down the inside line, job done.
Job done. And Lou, I don't know, he doesn't seem very quick. He's now also losing some time to Rudy now when he's passed.
Has he got more maybe of a dry setup on?
I don't know.
Because that's all I'm thinking. I mean, we're on lap 7 out of 27. The rain doesn't look like it's going to relent yet, but is there any chance that the rain obviously is going to dissipate towards the end of the race? Stephen on the back of Ruti to the inside line. The Ferrari and the McLaren are going to go side by side. There's contact. And Stephen looked to the inside line there. He's have to force off track. He could have easily rejoined track there, to be honest. Watch him pick up a 3-second penalty. Oh, no, he hasn't. It's fine. Stephen there in 9th. And in the end, there was a bit of a half-hearted move, to be honest.
Now versus Jensen. Jensen has way more ERS.
He has 52% compared to 16%, so by my calculations, he's got the triple the amount of ERS at this point compared to Yona ahead. Yona behind even, sorry. Oh, that's 3 wide actually in the background. Coming through turn number 11. Ryan, MedTC and Hawk. And MedTC has just outdone Hawk. And now he's going to outdo Ryan to the inside line and towards turn number 12. These guys are having fun with this battle, I can just tell. The Scotsman holds on to the position. The Finn and the German, I kid you not though, was 3 wide pretty much in towards turn number 11. I haven't seen that before. And Ryan is P16. MedTC's just going to launch it down the inside line. He's like, yeah, I don't care. He's going to get the move done. And he does get the move done. So MedTC's doing his into 16. Nice, fun battle that. That's completely against the norm that we normally commentate on. That's a really fun battle going on right down the back of the field as Jona is on the back of Jensen.
Yeah, they have some fun at the back of the field. They are nowhere near at points at this moment. Rek also is closing in now into Jona, who's second now. And actually, my prediction is good for now.
Your prediction is good for now, which is terrible. I mean, I put Bunty third and he's in 11th position, and that was just wishful thinking, I think, on my end, just to get a prediction wrong for once. Jensen leads the way, though. Jona in second, Barak in third. Jona off the back end slightly there of Jensen. 0.4 per second this lap around. Jensen just looks like he's controlling Jona, but again, we see that underfueling of the car. Is that underfueling coming back to bite him? Because it looks like Jona, coming out the final corner last time around, was very close to the back of Jensen, didn't go for the move. Is that underfueling actually costing them the chance to have a go at Jensen for the lead?
I know, it's now Jensen just running a little bit away and braking a little bit later in the last corner. Jensen gets the better exit as Macho also picked up a 3-second time penalty.
He has. We'll run through the penalties, actually. We're third of the way through the race. Rudy's got 6 seconds now worth of time penalties. 3 seconds of that might be pending, of course. The steward's investigating that, so might get removed. Macho, 3 seconds. And Harman, 3 seconds. As Barak is very wide, coming out of turn number 2. Literally going to the other side of France, I think, coming through turn number 2 there. Just got completely wide on the curb. Forced off the track. Sapala now picks up a 3-second penalty, so had him onto the list that I've just mentioned. Barak, though, has lost now slipstream range to Jona. That is going to come back to bite the Spaniard.
Mistake there. And he lost very much time
Oh,
there.
yeah. 0.7 of a second. Maybe we're beginning to see the wet starting to go off in terms of actually the grip levels around this track. Because remember, into the more like a grained soft compound tyre or grained dry compound tyre, wets are completely different. Wets are pretty much all weather tyre, and Barak seems to be struggling on the all weather tyre, and he's now lost time in the space of a lap.
2 seconds behind Jona now. Top 2's running away from everyone.
They're just looking a class above the rest, I think, at this point, to be honest, Jensen and Jona. Sapalo's picked up another 3-second penalty. How can you pick up 2 3-second penalties in a lap? It's like my sort of level when I try and crash out a driver on open lobbies, but there we are. I don't want to be doing that, by the way. I do not commend that at all, even in FRL. We do not commend that in FRL. But Jensen leads the way, Jona in second, and Jona right under the rear wing there, coming out the final corner. He's 3/10 behind, not going to get the move done. And I think Jona, to be honest, is trying to pinpoint where Jensen is weaker out on track. And where the weak point is the final corner. Otherwise, Jensen has got his number.
Yeah, Jona gained some time at the entry of the final corner, but Jensen a little bit at the exit. It's just interesting to see that in the final corner, as there's a
yellow flag. Sapalo, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. No damage.
Yeah.
Position, but
I think he just got caught on the curb coming through turn number 1. He's lost a handful of positions there. Yaro, Physical, who I was on board with in terms of that battle. Physical was on the back of Yaro. Sapala, though, round coming out of turn number 1 and 2, and he has dropped a few positions as a result. But he's still in 14th, still within possible top 10 range at least, which is good. Bunty, however, is round about 4 seconds ahead of him, currently out on track. Jona once again, on the back of Jensen, running up the hill and towards turn number 10, takes the thin line, and that gains him the time. Coming through turn number 10, on lap 10, is Jona going to think about going for a move? I think, to be honest, he's just waiting for Jensen to make a mistake. Ryan now picks up another penalty, or picks up a 3-second penalty, I should say. But Yona on the back of Jensen, he just looks confident, sitting in behind. He's not really breaking sweat as does the McLaren round, and that's Hawk coming through turn number 9 that is round. Sapala is out. Sapala is off track and out of the race. Is that going to deploy safety cars? Well off track, Sapala. Where is he out on track? I can't even see him. I can't even see the driver out on track. Hawk is there. Ruti's expecting to come into the pit lane and think there's a VSC or safety car. Where is he? Oh my god, he's so far off track I can't even see him. There he is, off into the wall, as Henry and Hawk are going side by side. Of course, you can't overtake through that section. And Ruti has gone for Inters, which is not a bad call, but no safety car VSC. Henry's got the move done on the Hawk. Ruti has got him for a set of Inters, though. I think they were thinking that the safety car was going to come out, and that's why he came into pit lane. That's the wrong call. Unless he's so much quicker on these tyres coming out the pit lane, that's the wrong call for Ruti. It still looks like it's full wet.
This can be effective for his championship. Jona really can go for the late lunge.
No. I tell you what, only just through the first couple of calls, I'm on board with Ruti, comparing it to Ryan, who's ahead of him. I think he might be catching. I think Ruti is catching out on track. Let's have a look. Coming through turn number 6 now, onto the Mistral straight. He's not getting much time, but he is gaining time.
It doesn't seem very bad, this Inters at this moment.
Not at all. Not at all. And obviously, rain conditions, are they going to improve as the session goes on? We'll have to wait and see.
For it, maybe.
He was really close there.
Yeah, it was really close there. There's also a weak point maybe for Jensen. Just the final sector it is where Jona's closing in.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, if you were in the top 5 at this point, with Ruti hardly losing and hardly gaining any time, and pretty much being over the crossover period now in these conditions, what would you do out of the top 5? If you were, say, Jona in second position, would you come in for a set of Inters behind Jensen, or would you try and go for the race lead and then pit?
I would just pit to the Inters if they are quicker, and at this point...
Oh, here comes Jona! Jona to the inside line! Is going to get the move done in towards turn 5, and Jensen falls out wide. He falls in for a mistake, and Jona gets the lead. Jona gets the lead, and we were literally just saying there, what would you do in that scenario? Jona has done that, and he's now thrown into the race lead, but Jensen's not going to give up this fight, is he? The Alpine on the back of the Williams running down the straight. He pulls to the inside line. This is impossible.
Inside.
Jensen to the inside line, into the chicane Nord. He gets the move done. That is absolutely remarkable. There was no entitlement to go for that gap. It looked to me if it was off track, he might have to give up that position if it is off track, but Jensen threw he's into the lead of the race. Game doesn't think it's off track. That is absolutely unbelievable. I've never seen a move pulled off like that before. Ruti, by the way, is getting hand over fist on the Inters. It's definitely Inters now. These guys should be coming in.
They are, but who's going to take the gamble first now? Will Jensen do it? Will Jona do it? Or someone else do it? Rek also picked up a 3-second time penalty now, so he loses his podium at this moment. To Mali.
It's Inters. What? I don't get why drivers are not putting in, to be honest.
No. No.
Oh, and Ruti's round. Ruti's round. Another one that's stayed out. Ruti's round, coming out of turn number 10.
And this is really effective on this championship.
Yeah, 10 and 16.
I think Ruti will not pick up any points at this moment now.
He's behind Henry as well. Ruti's tyres are now completely overshot, but I have to say that it still favours the Inters. Ruti's obviously lost time as a result of that incident. Not sure if he's got any damage as a result either. He's losing a lot of time now, so I can only assume he has got damage. And Ruti is into the pit lane, I can see on the minimap, so that's unfortunate. Ruti into the pit lane. He thought it was in. To be fair, though, intermediate compounder tyres were working for him until he spun. He gained a second that lap before he spun, And Jensen has just made a mistake slightly in towards the chicane. No, Jona's right on the back of him, gets to switch back out on turn 9, tries to get the move done, but Jona again has to fight the car, and Jensen will hold the lead running up the hill in towards turn number 10. But how long is he going to hold that lead for? Because Jona is right on the back of him.
Ruti now pitted to a new set of inters.
Not surprised.
So he's feeling comfortable with this inters.
He clearly thinks it's inters. I think it's inters out on track. And the big difference will be how much Ruti gains on Harman. That will be the biggest indicator to everyone else out on track. Ruti, of course, is not going to win this race now. But there's a potential... there's a potential that, obviously, Jensen, as he's slow at the final corner, Jensen, not sure what he was doing that. I'm not sure if he was letting Jona through.
But he has a better exit every time. So he's just hunting for the exit, I think.
Ruti has gained 0.3 of a second, by the way. 0.4 of a second now on the back of Harman. Inters. Seems like it's more Delta focused on Inters. But drivers are still standing out on the sort of wet, as Metisi and Davidenko are having a fight out the final corner. The Finn and the Spaniard running down towards the line, running down towards turn number 1 as well. Now, literally, you can't split them apart down towards turn number 1. Davidenko on the inside line, Metisi all the way around the outside, and that is why he was a former F1 Esports Challengers driver. Metisi's through, and he's into 12. Davidenko on 13th, and Davidenko surely not going to fight this in towards turn number 3. What does the commentator know? He goes for it, doesn't get the move done.
Harman into the pit lane. If he is in the party with Jona, this will be very important for Jona. If Harman is good on this inters and gaining some time.
Gotta be inters, surely. He's in. Yeah, green wall tyre. Inters on. Ruti is probably going to be behind, I think, coming out the pit lane. Jona, by the way, is on the back of Jensen, who again has made a slight mistake out of 10. And Ruti is just about, I think, going to be ahead of him. He will be, yeah. Ruti just ahead of Harman, coming out the pit lane. Currently for the wooden spoon, out on track in 18th and 19th. But Harman, one thing to get onto those tyres, another thing to get those tyres online. And now, the big question is whether or not Inters are going to be focused into play. Jona was so quick, it's through 14, by the way. He's on the back of Jensen, through the final corner. And Jona now... to see what you mentioned about Jensen getting the better exit on Jona, Jona's got to follow Jensen's line. If he follows his line, he's got a chance down in towards someone next time around.
I'm just watching now the back of the thing if someone is taking the gamble maybe for the Inters, but for now, nobody is.
No, nobody is. I think they're just entitled at the minute to just stay out on these sort of wet, but even the rain looks like it's easy now out on track. So it's got to be a switch over to Inters at some point in this race. Ruti, by the way, I know it's Hawk ahead of him, but he's just gained nearly 2 seconds the last lap. Ruti is flying on those Inters. I know it's Hawk ahead of him, but compared to the gap, looking at the gap, he is flying out on track. And Ruti still possibly wants to watch out for if all of these guys stay out for wets. And of course, because it's a wet race, these guys actually don't have to come into the pit lane.
For now, actually not, but Ruti's gaining and gaining now in the hole. Stephen Osh takes now 3 seconds, same for Macho.
Yeah, and I think, Hawk's off coming through turn number 1, so that's why he's gaining so much time. Harman's back into the pits. Yeah, another set of wets, or is he going to retire? He retires. Unfortunate. I mean, I don't blame him. He was down in final place, and yeah, I mean, Sapala obviously crashed out. Harman's first genuine retirement out of the race. So unfortunate. He was driving well up until that point.
He picked up for front wing damage, so I can understand it also now.
Yeah, really unfortunate. Jona got a better exit than Jensen there at the final corner. It's the first time I've seen it. Hopefully you might be watching the stream in the background and I'm telling them what to do. But it just seems to me now, Jesse, that Barack, Marley, Rudy are beginning to get into contention. They're not too far off.
Fish goes in for a set of Inters. And also, if they are in the party, it's going to be very... It's Inters. It
has to
like for me.
Look at the rain.
It's Inters, it looks like for me. It is so much lighter, the rain now, than a couple of laps before.
Oh, look at how much route he is gaining on Hawk. Look at how much time he is gaining on Hawk. Hawk's got front wing damage, that's why he's catching so much. Jensen leading the way though, Yona in second. All of these guys are going for a set of inters. But to what cost for the leaders? Because the leaders are battling. Jensen and Yona are battling. They're entitled to stay out on these set of wets, and they don't have to come into the pit lane. But you can tell by the actual rain, it normally flies across the track if it's heavy rain. It's not now heavy rain, it's in between heavy rain and light rain, to be honest. So we're going to see a transition period very soon indeed. Physical to Henry is the gap we're focusing on the left-hand side. If Physical gains on Henry, which I mean he is now, Physical is going to be quicker than everyone else out on track. And he is coming through. I'm trying to pinpoint where he is actually out on circuit. He is coming through turn number... or coming in towards the meter. And Jensen's in! Jensen into the pit lane is in! So Jensen blinks first into the pit lane. Nobody else has followed him in. This is a major risk for Jensen. As Hawk is retired out on track. And that is down the straight he is retired. And that's a safety car! And how fortunate can you get for Jensen? Jensen into the pits, sedimenters go on, safety car deployed. He is probably absolutely smiling his face off at this point. Jensen is into the pit lane. He's going to be coming out in fresh tyres. T-Hawk has crashed on the exit of the pit lane. I'll try and pinpoint out where he is. He's on the left-hand side.
Crash there? How?
Exactly how? Unless he's lost it coming out the pit lane, which I could only think he has.
Yeah, maybe, but... I don't understand how can he crash there, but... He was on fresh
inters. He was on fresh inters, so he came out the pit lane, and I think because they're so cold coming out the pit lane, he has lost those tyres on the exit, he's applied too much throttle, and he's gone spearing off track to the left-hand side, and Hawk has caused the safety car. Might be in the comment section, you might put it down as a bit of a strange one, and a bit of a fortunate one, and maybe a little bit of a controversial one. I don't think there's anything controversial in it. I think purely Hawk has just got cold tyres coming out the pit lane. He's gone spearing off into the wall on the left-hand side. And that's why the safety car's been deployed in a complete separate instance to what it was. But now, what do Yona, Barack, Marley, Rudy, Macho and Steven do? Where are they going to come out on track? And where are they going to come out in terms of positions? Because surely they're going to be behind Jensen coming out the pit lane. I just stay out.
Will be a close one between Yona and Jensen. No, it's Inters if they stay out. For me, it's Inters at this moment. But
Pasix, Mentisi and Ryan have gone for a full set of wets though. Yona
stays out.
Barack is in. Molly is staying out.
Rudy is in. Macho is in.
Macho in. Steven in. So Marley's the only one out of that top 6 not to come into the pit lane. Marley is now chilling in. Actually, Yona has stayed out. Sorry, Yona has stayed out. Yona and Marley have stayed out. Wow. Big call. I think they realise that they're going to lose position to Jensen, and that's why they're trying to preserve that gap. Jensen, of course, has to stick to that delta time. Barack could be ahead of Jensen coming out the pit lane here. Out of the pit lane, there's the pit lane exit. There's Jensen on the left-hand side. This is going to be extraordinarily close coming out the pit lane. And Jensen is just ahead of Barack coming out the pit lane. If that was 1 second earlier he got dispatched, Barack would be ahead of Jensen easily.
It will be. Oh. This is a gamble for Yona. Will this be the winning strat or the losing strat?
Well,
that is just now the question.
This is a bit of deja vu, I think, compared to TTML F2 last season, where he came in, it was a changeable race as well. He came in, it was arguably from a set of dries, Hawks left the session now, but Yona, what was I saying? I've completely lost my thought because Hawk left the session and threw me completely off. Yona, yeah, TTML F2, he came in, it was a changeable race from dries to inters. He thought that no, actually it was opposite way, it was inters to dries. He came in, I think there was a safety car, and it was intermediates when the safety car came in. But then, a couple of laps later, it was full dry conditions. Yona risked it, he was in the lead underneath the safety car. And unfortunately for him, he ended up 2 laps down from the rest of the field. And I get a bit of sense of deja vu that this might happen again. But Yona, I think he's in a more fortunate position. The rain hasn't really relented, to be honest. It looks more inters than wet now. But why has Pasix, MedTC and Ryan gone for that full set of wets?
I don't know. If they wanted to stay on wets, they should have stayed out.
They should have. And Yona and Marley are obviously not coming into the pit lane, so they are now totally committed to what will be 9 or 10 laps on a full set of wets, right to the checkered flag, right up until puncture territory. This will be the big defining moment in the race and possibly in the championship. Will Yona and will Marley get those wets online, or is it the case where Jensen is just too quick on those inters, everyone else is too quick on those inters, and they just fly on by the wet runners and it's completely the wrong call? We will find out in a few minutes' time.
It will be very tricky and it will be very exciting. Ruti is the back safety car.
He is. He came back into the pits. Yeah, Ruti came back into the pit lane, I think. So he's gone fresh out of inters again. And obviously he's came into the pit lane there. Neil Sarno saying inters are better. I've got to tend to agree, to be honest, but looking at the rain fall out on track, it's not heavy rain. Yeah, you can argue it's heavy rain. It's not heavy rain out on track. It's like mid-intensity sort of rain.
It is much lighter than at the start of the race, so for me it's also inters.
Exactly, and that, obviously, I can't spot any puddles either. Off the circuit, yes. And off racing line, yes. But there's hardly any puddles now on the racing line when there was at the start of the race. Surely got to be inters. Jensen, I wouldn't be surprised if he actually leads down in towards turn number 1, given how Yona and Marley will be literally shot off those tyres.
It's just not that much standing water also anymore.
Yeah, and all questions are going to be answered. Ruti is not joining onto the back of the safety car queue yet, so we might be out for another lap possibly under the safety car.
Don't think so.
Let's find out. He is catching. Normally when it gets to 5 seconds, underneath 5 seconds, the safety car normally gets deployed back in. Safety car's going slow. I think it's too far on, possibly, for the safety car to come in. Normally around this point, the latest point it comes in. And I think we're going to be out for another lap, possibly. Yeah, safety car's staying out. So, safety car stays out for another lap. And Ruti, their 17th position, is on the back.
Another lap we need to wait for the question, are the inters better than the wets?
That's why.
He's actually now with the back.
I mean, that's what I said. We're going to be getting going in a few. You're going to be getting your answer in a few minutes, and you will get your answer in a few minutes. Probably within the next 2 or 3 minutes, you'll get your answer here in FRL F1. Will the inters come online better than the wet? That is the big talking point in this race. Yona and Marley, for me, they've now gone for broke. They have literally gone, and there's no turning back. Unless there's another safety car, and unless they're leading under that safety car, there's no hope for them, really, I see. Inters are going to be so much better. Barack in behind is going to be, I think, quicker than Jensen as well. And we're going to see what we got robbed of last season around here. Jensen versus Barack for potentially the race win.
Yeah, but Barack has 3 seconds, so I don't see him winning that quickly.
Jensen has been off track a couple of times though, so he might have a few warnings.
Let me just look.
I think he's got maybe 1 warning or 2, possibly.
No, he doesn't have one. Nothing.
Really? He's been off track multiple times and gone off wide. How's he not got a warning?
Yona has 1 warning, Marley also 1. Barack needs to look out for a 6-second time penalty. He gets after his penalty 2 warnings, so
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Safety cars coming in this lap, and it is Jona, the virtual Bert Marlander. He is now the virtual safety car out on track, and he is going to be controlling this race right from the front. And is this now going to be the championship defining moment where Jona and Marley have literally gone for broke? Are they going to pull off possibly the biggest strategy call in FRL F1, certainly this season? Not sure in the whole history of FRL. But Jona and Marley, this is their big time. This is now their time to try and shine. And Jona is beginning to up the pace. He wants to try and up that pace. And Baraka is caught sleeping in behind as well. And Jona still going slow. But everyone is nicely spaced out. So Jona could go now and then put pressure on the guys in behind. We'll have to wait and see. Jona now floors it in towards the final couple of corners. And he's already pulled away from Marley. But this is the big question. Is Jensen's tyres online at the minute? No. He remains in behind. Of course, they can't overtake in towards the final couple of corners. But it just seems like the wets are better coming out the final corner. Jensen might get a little bit of time. But the wets seem better coming out the final corner. This will be the big defining moment. In towards turn number 1. Jona leads the way. He's pulled away from Marley in second. Jensen there in third. And Jensen, the wets are better. The wets are looking better coming through turn 1 and 2. On the other side of the track it might be different. But at this point, it seems like now Inters, he's just beginning to catch back over towards turn 3. It's still too early yet. But Jona's pulling away from Marley. Marley is not really struggling on those wets, I've got to say. And Jensen in behind. It just looks like he hasn't got any pace to get past.
Yeah, but I don't know if it will be turn 2 Inters, but otherwise Jensen will win.
It's got heavier though, the rain, I think. The rain has got a bit heavier out on track since the safety cars came in. Jensen's not closing towards the Mistral, in towards Le Chicane Nord. Now coming through Le Chicane Nord. Oh, he's so much quicker coming through there. Right on the back of Marley. Again, though, he has to use up that EOS battery to good effect to try and get the move done. Nobody has got the move done, by the way, on this lap, so I would have been commentating on anything else. But now Jensen coming through turn number 10 on the back of Marley in towards turn 11. This shoot, he's going to be a dive down the inside line into turn 11. Gets caught on the curb, thinks second of it, dives down the inside line anyways, and gets the job done. Jensen Dooney's into second, Marley into third. He had to really, really work for that, though, Jensen. Marley's still on the inside line, and to be fair, Jensen just about gets the move done, but I'd probably say it's crossover period.
He's closing in.
Let's find out. Barak's on the inside line of Marley as well. Inters seem to be coming into play. A little bit of a chop off there on Marley's front wing. Rudy nearly spins it out the final corner as well. And now Macho's going to be side by side with him. Rudy, now in that double toe, has been caught completely napping. Stephen Osh gets the fastest lap of the race. It looks like it's Inters now. Rudy's gone into the back of Marley. Rudy into the back of Marley. Left side end plate damage on the car. Marley has to cut across turn number 1. And that's just pure outbreaking bad luck there from Rudy. Just completely messed up his braking point. Thought he could do it on the Inters. Couldn't. And Rudy there in 8th position has got front wing damage. I think he has to continue on to try and get a podium, but it looks a points finish, but it looks very unlikely now.
He's also holding up much drivers now. I think Jarl will pass him very soon. Not at this straight, but...
Here's Macho on the back of Marley. Marley is under pressure from Macho. Macho sends it down the inside line. To be fair, Marley's not giving an inch of room to Macho. And Macho, just on pure traction, gets the job done. But look at Jensen compared to Jona.
Jensen is closing in.
He's closing in, but it's not
now,
at the time where we might necessarily think he might be catching in at. It's only 1.1 seconds. He's only caught 0.5 per second so far this lap.
Is closing in. Look, it's almost in 1 second.
Yeah, it's beginning to look more likely that he is going to win this. But Jensen, Jona looks like he's got those tyres under control though. Through the final sector, there's a yellow flag, and then there's Rooty round. Rooty round coming through turn number 12. Got caught on the inside line there. Lou, by the way, side by side of Marley. Coming out the final corner, Red Bull against the Haas. Jensen's so much quicker, definitely Inters now. Lou on the back of Marley though, in towards turn number 1. They're side by side, nobody's going to give an inch of room. Lou around the outside line, gets the job done. Lovely move by Lou. He's through and he's into 5th. That is why he got signed up to the LFR team. And he's through and he's into 5th as Ruti Huller is retired in the pits.
That's not good for his championship.
Oh, Meti C down the inside line. Rudy's gone off as
And
well.
Rudy
Rudy's
also,
staying
yeah.
out there. And Meti C down the inside line. A Pasix in the meantime. Jensen on the back of Yona looks more immediate, so we'll cut to that. Jensen on the back of Yona. There goes Yona to the inside line, trying to defend the position off Jensen. Jensen out on the toe, to the outside line. This is the move for the lead. And he goes clean sailing around the outside. Yona's still there, though. Yona is still there. The Wets are fighting for grip, and the Wets just about come out on top. Now, look at Barack on the back of this as well. He's going to get the double toe. Yona and Jensen are nearly side by side, wheel banging up the hill and towards turn 10. Yona and Jensen. Barack goes around the outside of Jensen. What a move by Barack. That is opportunistic if I've ever seen it. And Barack is through and he's into second. But there's contact between the two championship contenders from that season. Barack and Jensen make contact. And Barack got the move done. Jensen, I think, fortunate to get away with that one. Rudy's round coming through turn number 10 as well. But Jensen got caught up in that incident. Now Barack is on, possibly for what we said would be maybe the race win. Yona could hold up on the back of Jensen. Jensen got completely bullied out of that position.
Rudy. 10-second time penalty, corner cutting. Yeah, will retire.
He's cut the corner. He'll retire into the pit lane, I think. Frustrating, I think, for Rudy. Speeds into the pits. That's him done at the session. Yona leads the way. Somehow, still hanging on. And I tell you what, if he wins this race on ties that are not favourable, what is this man? What is this guy? Yona leading the way. 4 laps to go. He's got to hope that those inters just fall off completely in these final 4 laps. It looks unlikely, but Yona is Yona, and he's going to put up a hell of a fight to try and win this.
It will just depend on what Barack is doing to Jensen.
And Barack's just going to wait behind on Yona. Or is he?
If they are going to fight, Yona
is he? Here he goes. To the outside line. Yona, though, completely sends it in towards turn 8 and 9 again, and he cuts Barack up at the pass on the inside curb. Fair racing. There's a bit of decent going on as well between Barack and Yona, but up the hill and towards turn number 10 once again. It's a characteristic of the last lap around. Yona nearly forcing Barack all the way to the inside line. Barack on the inside line now, forced him out wide. There's a bit of contact between them both. The Williams are still there on the outside line. Barack gets the move done for the race lead, and Jensen sends it up the inside of Yona as well, trying to get second position, and Yona had to fight for that. His lead might have gone, but he's still fighting for a podium at the very, very least in this race. He forces Jensen now off track. It's getting a bit desperate for Yona's defensive driving. Barack has now got clear, and it's Yona now the one that's putting Jensen completely under pressure, who just got sailed it around the outside of turn 14.
Well, for now, if these wets are so slow from Yona, it's a double Haas podium.
It will be, yeah. Lou hasn't got a penalty. Lou hasn't got a penalty. Stephen Osh now sets the fastest lap of the race. He's doing well on his debut, actually, Stephen Osh. They're in 6th. Driving a very astute race. Yarrow as well, 7th position. Marley in 8th. His tyres have now completely gone off the cliff there in 8th. Yona is still fighting for potentially, though, for a podium here. If Lou doesn't get past Yona, Yona's on the podium. Yona can hold up Macho, Lou and Stephen as much as he likes. Those wets somehow are still hanging on. And I cannot believe it, and it just comes to show the characteristic, I think, of Yona's driving. And I think he's going to hold Macho in towards the chicane. And he will.
In F2, Barrett won on his birthday.
Parrot won on his birthday? Oh yeah, happy birthday, Parrot, by the way. I was going to start the stream by saying that. Totally forgot. I don't know, maybe he's got some bird seed for a birthday present? I don't know.
Maybe he gets a parrot present.
Yeah. Might be. You might get a parrot. Who knows? Macho on the back of Yona. Page 3 and 4. I don't know where the stream suddenly turned. Macho on the back of Yona. And Macho right on the back of him. It just looks like a time and a place where Macho could go for the move on Yona. Yona, though, he likes to defend for his life. Barack leads the way. Jensen in second. As more looking more as Tabeti C has gone off, and that will not deploy safety car. Macho down the inside line. Where's this came from? Macho to the inside line through 14. Round the outside into 15. Yona nearly forced him off track. To be fair, he gives him room. Lou's going to get a double toll down the straight, and we'll take this from Lou's perspective. Onto the penultimate lap of the race. Barack leads the way. Jensen in second. Barack's on the podium. And Yona is still in third. He's still in third. I cannot believe what I'm seeing. He is driving so well. Even if he loses his position, as Ryan has spun coming out the final corner, even if he loses these positions now, Yona, I think, could get driver of the day. I'm being honest, because he's driven so well on those wets.
We will just speak about it after the race. For now, these wets, he's holding up Macho.
This is it.
Another train.
This is it, surely. Macho to the outside line on the back of Yona. The Mercedes and the Williams are going to go side by side. Yona's just going to come off at the pass, though. Macho thinks about it going around the outside. And he backed out of it. Macho didn't have the balls to go around the outside on Yona. And he fights the Inters. Yona is still in third. It's looking increasingly likely now that Yona could pick up a podium. This is unbelievable. This is absolutely unbelievable stuff. Here in France, Yona is in third on wet tyres that could have gone off 10 laps ago. He is still in third and still on for podium, and he's holding everyone else up. And do you know what? I'm not even ruling Yona out of a podium at this rate as well, because they're literally going so slow behind Yona. Yona is still hanging on. Macho has a slide, and he can't get the move done towards turn 14. Surely he's got to think about going around the outside here, though. Macho clean sails on around the outside to the inside line. And he takes away the podium potentially from Yona, but with the final lap to go.
Yona, he gets the podium, and it's a double Haas podium. Down into what's turn one, the Haas with more speed now, and the Inters. Yona's really aggressive, but fairly defending.
He's still defending.
This is being red race.
He is still.
Take Yona now for the podium.
I might be showing bias in commentary here, but he's still defending the position. He's in fourth. And now Lou just pulls to the inside line. And Yona turns into him. Lou shouldn't have went for that down the inside line. Lou should have just backed off that, I think. He could have got him down the straight and could still get him down the straight, to be frank. Barak leads the way. He is on the podium, Barak.
Much more ERS. Much more power down the straight.
Oh, look at him.
He'll go for it.
To the outside line. Yona's going to be really late on the brakes, though. To the inside line. Lou's through. Lou's through and he's into fourth. Yona, the wets are giving way right on the final lap of the race. It has been a real put-up fight.
Jensen also. Look at the gap.
Yeah, gap increasing. Barak, 2.3 seconds. He's pulling away from Jensen. Jensen, though, realises he can back off enough. He doesn't want to back off too far, though. He's only got a 7/10 buffer because Barak is pulling away from him. Could Barak still win this? Is going through my mind now. Coming through the final couple of corners, the Spaniard has done a brilliant job to win this race out on track. Barak is back, and he is back in black to try and win here in France. Round the final corner comes Barak. The Spaniard is going to take the race win out on track, but inevitably the race win is going to go to Jensen. Barak sets the fastest lap of the race as well, and Jensen takes it by 5/10 per second. Macho will finish in third. But Lou and Yona, are they going to jump ahead of him? Yes, they do. Lou's in third. How is Yona fourth?
Yona also really good. He just driven the whole race on this wet tire.
How?
27 laps.
How is Yona fourth? And to be honest, how's Marley ninth as well? Marley's in the points. In ninth. Absolutely.
Look at that gap between Marley and Pesic.
1700ths of a second, and I think Marley might have actually got him down the straight to get that move. So Marley through into ninth, steals a point off Pasic's very late on. Bunty was wishful thinking, wasn't it, for him finishing 11th in the end. Davidenko around the final corner. The Spaniard has crashed into the wall. He's going to be very careful he doesn't DNF here. Davidenko to the line. And he's flying across the line to finish, I think, in... Was that 13th coming across the line there for Davidenko? Oh, breathe!
When the race this was, I'm gonna add the top 3 drivers into this party. So we can do interviews with them.
Yep, that's totally fine. Now we'd see the top step of the podium, and it is Jensen who takes the race win. A double Haas podium, of course, as Jesse alluded to. Lou in the end having to finish third behind Baraka, but Barak drove a hell of a race to finish in second in the end. But Jensen takes the race win. Might have not necessarily took the race win out on track, but he takes the race win here tonight, and Jensen is back. And not only with that, he takes the championship lead as well from Ruti, who didn't even finish the race. So, Jensen now on course, going into next week. Of course, I think it's Britain next week, if I'm not mistaken. He took, not the fastest lap, not quite what we had in terms of the Grand Slam, but he took the win, he took pole position, and that is all that matters to him as well. So Jensen takes the championship lead, wins here in France as a result of Barak's penalty. Barak might look into getting that removed, but whether it gets removed is a different thing.
Jensen is leading with 13 points in the championship.
13-point advantage he's got.
Yep.
13-point advantage. You heard it from Jesse first. 13-point advantage for Jensen, but he takes the race win here. Barak in second, Lou there in third, who was already joined the party, and we'll get on to the interviews in a second. Yona there in fourth, Yoro in fifth, Stephen Osh in sixth, Physico in seventh, Macho in eighth, Marley in ninth, outscoring Pasix by 1700ths of a second, and that was taken right at the line for Marley to get the run at the final corner on Pasix to finish in ninth. Pasix there in 10th, drove well on his debut as well. Bunty 11th, Ryan in 12th, Davidenko 13th, Henry in 14th, didn't actually get classified in the results because he was a ghost car. Matey C, of course, crashed a few laps before the end of the race, and these are the DNFs. Matey C, Rudy, Ruti, Hawk, Harman and Sapala all DNFing out of that race. But we now can speak to the man who finished in P1, and that is, of course, Jensen. And Jensen, in the end, you had to work for that a hell of a lot harder than what I thought you were going to be coming out the pit lane. Talk us through that race, because that was insane.
Yeah, mental race at the end. It was basically like the whole race was just defending from Yona. But yeah, I think the safety car, like if Yona didn't stay out and pitted, he would have jumped me, because the safety car came out quite a bit when I was in the pits. So I thought, oh no, I've lost this race, but they decided to stay out, and in the end, it wasn't the right move for them. But tried getting past Yona, and Barak just came out of nowhere and swooped through. But lucky for me, he had a 3-second penalty, so I didn't have to do much at the end. I saw he was extending the gap, so I had to get on it a little bit in the final sector, but yeah, in the end managed to hold on to the win, and my first podium since Jeddah as well, so I'm really happy with that.
Yeah, 12 points disadvantage coming into tonight, obviously behind Ruti. Ruti didn't even finish that race, and he now lead the championship by 13 points, so obviously, from here in France, you go, I think it's Britain next week, if I'm not mistaken.
It is.
Is that focus on the championship now, considering you're now back in the championship lead?
Yeah, 100%. And it's the last race before the break week, so I'm hoping to make it a good one before we come to that.
Of course, it is Bank Holiday Monday as well. There's Easter next Monday as well. So, we might be getting fat on chocolate possibly next week. Never know, we might be in a chocolate coma by the end of next week as well from the action here in FRL. Jesse, though, I'm going to come across to you. Any questions?
Next week, Silverstone, your own Grand Prix. Do you like the track, and are you good on it?
My most successful track in league racing. I think I've got like 18 wins so far at Silverstone, so hoping I could add another one to the tally, get a second British Grand Prix win in FRL, but we'll see. Not gonna be easy, but I think I'm gonna give them a good go at it.
Yeah, definitely give it a go indeed. And I think Jesse just stole my question there as well, so I was going to ask him about Silverstone. But yeah, I think that concludes everything that I certainly have to say as well, along with Jesse. Go and enjoy your evening.
Thank you, and of course, cheers for comments as always.
You're very welcome indeed, and we'll now move on. Barak is not here. I don't think he normally does interviews here in FRL when he gets a podium. So Barak finishing in second, congratulations to him. Took that fastest lap as well. Lou, though, moving on to you, finished in third, and obviously you were outside of the actual podium positions for a majority of that race until the final few laps. Only got it in terms of penalties, I think, as well. Talk us through the race, because it was a real, as Jensen said, mental race out on track. Yeah, took you up to P3. In terms of that safety car as well, out on track, you were behind, I think, Jensen and Barack obviously going into that pit stop. Jensen, very fortunate, I've got to say, with that safety car as well. Literally timed it to absolute perfection. And you said, I think, you were coming across the safety car line, so was it immediately come into the pit lane, going for a set of inters? Could have been different. It wasn't different though at the end of that race. And talk us through the battle with Yona as well, because that battle with Yona, I do not know, for the God's sake and life of me, how he has finished 4th in that race, given that he was on a set of wets. How did you feel though, getting past him very late on? Oh! We can't hear you, apparently, I've been informed on the stream. It's party settings, I think. And share voice on all.
Yeah, okay, I think I fixed it now.
Think we fixed it now? Can Neil Zarno hear, or can anybody, of course, hear Luna?
I will check.
Yeah,
I haven't got the stream up. I didn't see Neil's message, but yeah, looking through. Yes, apparently we can hear you now, so that is very good indeed. So, Lou, once again, talk us through your race. P3 out on track. Very good drive.
Again, or?
Yeah, you can give us the short story if you want.
Again. Just your road story again.
Okay, I will try to keep it the same as. But yeah, what did I do in the race? Oh yeah, starting on wets. Then I saw Ruti on inters getting faster and faster. So I pitted for inters, and then the safety car came out eventually. Then from then on, I just tried to follow. Then had a great battle with Yona, because like he's one of the greatest defenders. And yeah, it was hard to get past, and that's actually what happened in my race.
Yeah, that's what happened in your race, obviously. Jesse, I'm going to give the mic over to you. Any questions?
Great Britain next week. Do you like the track? Of course, you didn't have the best race there last season, finishing P11, I thought. Do you like the track, and are you good on it?
Are we allowed to skip questions?
Yeah, you can put no comments if you really want to put that.
No. Seems for me like a no.
Let's say I will be happy if I finish in the points.
So in other words, he's probably going to finish outside the top 10 next week.
Yeah, that's exactly what's gonna happen.
Hopefully the polar
especially
opposite...
when it's wet.
Yeah, hopefully the polar opposite happens though, and we don't get like a Verstappen-Vettel sort of moment out on track in Britain next week. But of course, at P3 here tonight, obviously. Sorry, Jesse.
Or Verstappen Hamilton.
Oh, Verstappen Hamilton, yeah. We don't want a Verstappen Hamilton, goodness me. That'll go down in FRL community history, I think, as being one of the worst incidents ever. But there we are. Lou, though, go and enjoy your evening.
Thanks for commentating, guys.
No
Very
problem.
welcome indeed. And we have to give an interview to my awarded driver of the day. Just because Barack is not here, I thought I'd give an interview to him. It is Yona, of course. And Yona... How, for the God's sake of you, did you finish 4th in that race? I was convinced you were going to drop down the field. What on earth happened?
Whoa.
You were defending for your life out there. Talk us through it.
Yeah, I was actually. Because Jeff told me Inters and Wets would have similar pace, or not sure whether the Inters or Wets would have been better. So that's the reason I hung on. but the Inters were clearly had the edge at the end. So yeah, that's why I didn't drop off.
I think in terms of the pace from Inters to wets, we were literally, I was convinced that it was still wet out on track. And then I saw Jensen starting to close in about 5/10 a lap and thought, maybe it's Inters, maybe it's wet still, I don't know. It was a bit of a chopping and changing scenario though. But obviously, you stayed out after that safety car period, along with Marley, who was behind you. Was that a call that you were convinced would get you to the end of the race and still finish in the podiums?
It did. It had me convinced I would get to the end of the race because I was still on good tire wear. I wasn't completely convinced if it was gonna be a podium. At first, I had hope still the first few laps, but then Mali got passed and they closed up. My hopes faded away. Then the Minister of Defense came out in me, and then my hopes were still up high. But once I got passed by Baraka at first, because my first defending move on Jensen worked quite well. It was hard. I think he would say the same, but fair. At least I hope he'd say that, because I just did everything to keep them behind. But once Baraka was past me at start of sector 3. Sector 3 was also like the pain in the ass for the wets because of there were just massive understeer everywhere. Plus the old tires were just not a good combination. So and of course I saw Leo approaching without the penalty. So yeah, when he was right behind me, my hopes for the podium were faded away, unfortunately.
Yeah, and it was so bad of Lou to go down the inside into the final corner on the penultimate lap of the race.
Leo, ik weet dat je hierin zit. I know you're in here, man. What the hell? Why just don't why not just wait for the straight, man? Luckily you didn't spin out, because that was risky, man. I tell you, that was risky. You would have gotten it on the straight. Yeah, it is. But I was nearly screaming down my mic. Well, I'm not gonna repeat it, but I was nearly screaming down my mic like, "What are you doing? Why now?" But yeah, it was a lost cause for me at that moment. I could say I'm after this pleased with P4, but that's not how I feel. I'm absolutely gutted to thrown away the win. Jensen actually said I would have jumped in. That even like did me even more pain. I don't think he even should have said that. But yeah, I'm not very pleased with the result. But I could be happy. I put it like that.
Now I'm going to turn what you've just said there completely upside down. Compare that to TTML F2 last season around here in France.
Yeah.
It's a totally different performance. He should be very happy, I think.
That's true. If we're gonna compare those two, then this was a phenomenal race. And I just wanna note as well that Jensen just did a sublime job at the first stint to keep up the pace, because I at one point I don't know, like 10 laps in, I was just saying to myself, this guy must be sweating so hard, because I was as well keeping up. But then again, he was. There were only a few minor mistakes here and there, but they weren't big enough to capitalize on it. At one point, I did pull off a pretty good move, I should say, and I just didn't handle it well on the straights, and he just went for the gap on the inside, and the inside wins you in the wet, and he just did a terrific job, and nothing but GG's to him, and of course to the rest of the podium as well.
Yeah, it was an insane race, I've got to say. Probably one of the best I've commentated on around France, and that's saying something around here. Brilliant race, though, from your perspective, Jona. Jesse, any questions?
The question I asked to every driver this evening. Great Britain, do you like the track?
Let's say I hope it rains again. And then don't make the wrong strategy call. No, it's gonna be a shot in the dark, I guess. I don't know how it's gonna be, but as always, I'm gonna try my best, of course.
Yeah, definitely gonna try your best indeed. But go and enjoy your evening.
Yeah, thanks, man, and cheers for the commentating as always.
You're very welcome indeed. And in terms of fastest laps as well, just comparing, it's just gone off the screen. But Barack compared to Yona in terms of fastest lap, it was only 2 seconds quicker, the fastest lap, from an inters to a wet. So that is how close we're talking about in terms of the delta time right at the end of that race, just to give a better comparison about the tyres. But big thank you, of course, to Jensen, to Lou, and to Yona for the interviews. Much appreciated, of course, as always. And Jesse, I am going to come across to you now. You've got the forsaken job of giving your driver of the day.
But I'm not the driver.
In F1 tonight, who's your driver of the day?
I would say Yona for this performance on that wet. And he just had the pace on that wet tires when the inters were much quicker.
Yeah, much quicker indeed. And Yona's defensive driving, I think, has to be recognised in that. It was literally going through the Goodwood chicane that is completely stuck in the middle of the road. And I still don't know, for the God's sake of me, how he finished fourth.
This guy was just a Paris 2.0.
Definitely. But yeah, Yoda deserves driver of the day for me as well. Fantastic performance. He will get voted driver of the day from me. And hopefully everyone can give him the vote, unless they gave Parrot the vote because it's his birthday. I wonder what present he got, maybe for his birthday. Oh yes, he won FRL F2. So well done to Parrot on winning that. And a big happy birthday, of course, from everyone here in FRL F1. And that concludes tonight's stream. Big thank you, of course, to the top 4 for coming into the interview party. Big thank you, of course, to Jensen, to Lou, and to Yona for that. As Jesse has mentioned, next week is Britain. In the land of hope and glory, in the land of fish and chips and mushy peas, we are going to be going racing, of course, in Great Britain. It is, of course, 7 PM UK time, Monday and Tuesday. F3 and F4, of course, on Monday. F1 and F2 on Tuesday, both at 7 PM UK time, at the home of British Motorsport in Silverstone. We cannot wait to bring you the action. And I'm just going to say it now, it's going to be race of the season next week, and this is going to take some topping in terms of France tonight as well. But race of the season next week, you bet. Big thank you, of course, to Jesse for stepping in very last minute in terms of the commentary and being my co-commentator tonight. Much appreciated, of course, as always. Not sure where Oliver has got to. The last I heard from him, he was still ill, and that was last week. So Oliver didn't show up tonight and hasn't responded to my message, so I can only think he is out with somebody or he is dealing with his baby boy. I don't know. But that ends off tonight's live stream. Big thank you, of course, to everyone that tuned in. And if you haven't already, you can follow us on Twitch. You can tick that notification bell, of course, if you're new. And to anyone that might be watching this YouTube video later on, as it is live now, I will be uploading the YouTube video tomorrow, hopefully in a premiere format, and hopefully it'll be uploaded first time this week and in better quality. So that is what I'm going to hope for, and I'll do that tomorrow morning, of course, hopefully with a view for tomorrow afternoon to be viewed on the YouTube channel. Anyways, I'm rambling on. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.
Doei.